Good morning, St. Francis. It is Monday, January the 25th, 2021. It is the feast of the conversion of St. Paul the Apostle. Coming to you from the wetlands, once again, the wetlands in winter this time, which are pretty wet because we've had a little bit of rain here. But again, the wetlands, this location of them, this little overlook, is along the side of the chapel, right over here. And you can see the chapel bell tower. Chapel is still standing, although not yet in use, but still here, waiting for us to return. On this day that we remember the conversion of St. Paul, we also conclude the week of prayer for Christian unity. It concludes on the conversion of St. Paul because it is St. Paul who kind of puts into motion the desire of Christ that all people hear this good news. All people hear the gospel, hear the great deeds and what it is that Christ taught and said in his life. That all people might have life and have it to its fullest and come to a better understanding of themselves and of this God who created them. And so we remember St. Paul's conversion, two readings that are offered for us. A first reading, which has two choices. The first choice is St. Paul's own account of his conversion, and that is later in the Acts of the Apostles. The second choice is the earlier account in the Acts of the Apostles, in which St. Paul's conversion is narrated by St. Luke. Both conversions, a blinding light, a voice from the heavens, while you're persecuting me. Paul becomes blind and then goes to Damascus to be healed by Ananias and to learn more about why it is that God has called him into this mission. Again, a mission that happens in a way in brutality, because it is God who blinds Paul, knocks him from his horse, and yells, why are you persecuting me? But it is out of that brutality and that blindness that Paul learns his true calling and what he is called to do in this world, to open people's minds and hearts to what it truly means to be a child of God, to what it truly means to be a creation of God in this world, and what is asked and required of us who dare to believe. The gospel is the end is the last chapter in the Gospel of St. Mark. Again, we move quite ahead to chapter 16, but it is also that chapter that is kind of added in. Mark's gospel technically ends with the woman being told that Jesus has risen, and they go off afraid and don't tell anybody about it. But we can't have a gospel that ends like that, so we wrote in a little bit later this next chapter in which Jesus ascends to the Father and tells the apostles to baptize, but then says all kinds of fantastic things will follow because people dare to believe, like handling snakes and drinking poisons and all kinds of things like that. Don't be distracted by those kinds of things. Again, what Jesus says to the apostles, he says to Paul, he says to us, tell the world about me. Tell the world what can be, what can happen if you dare to believe in me and believe that I do have the power to transform this world and to transform you within it, to become more fully what you are meant to become, and to spread that gospel to as many as who will listen. And on this day of Paul's conversion, may we be even more converted to accepting that responsibility to be light, hope, and peace in this world. And may the Lord give you peace.